Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm sitting here with Mandi Jo.
You're
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm all right. I just want you to introduce what you do to the people.
Oh gosh. Oh well, I'm an artist first and foremost. I'm a tattoo artist second most. Um, that's what I do. I'm a tattoo artist and an artist.
Okay, and what's the name of your tattoo company?
My tattoo shop is A1 Ink and Gallery, 1033 Central Ave, Albany, New York, 12205.
How long have you been a tattoo artist?
I've been tattooing since 2011 in June.
Okay, so you got about 8 years in,
I'm
eight, nine
getting
years in.
I'm getting my years in.
Okay, that's good. How did you go from being an artist to a tattoo artist?
Oh wow. So when I was younger, my mother is an artist. We didn't watch television. We did arts and crafts. I was a kid artist. But when we was kids, there was no way to make no money doing art. You had to like die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just figured there was no real reason to spend my time doing it. So I stopped for a long time. And then I went to college for graphic and web design. Oddly enough, I had a sketching class and I failed.
So let me get this straight. You failed in college in your sketching class. You were already an artist. How didn't that make you like, I'm just not gonna do this?
Oh, it pissed me off. Like the lady standing over me, and I know I can draw, but she's telling me I can't. Reason being, in a sketching class, you got to kind of get messy to make shapes and shades and let your mind, kind of wander. I have a OCD thing kind of where I have to draw a straight line. It didn't click for me. So I ended up failing the sketching class. Passed the second time, but in the midst of me having to do my second sketching class, I ran into someone in the lobby. We got into talking to tattoos. My mom was tattooing at the time. And that's how I got into tattooing.
Okay. So when you get into tattooing, take me through the steps how you go from doing your first tattoo to your second to working in someone's shop.
Okay. Um, Well, the conversation I was having with the guy, it was just a conversation. And like I said, my mom started it and I thought she was nuts. She's an artist, like every medium. And I thought she was nuts. So I paid her no mind. I hate to say that, but I didn't. So then when I wanted to take it serious, she invited me and my sister to dinner. And she had a slab of pigskin on a table. I didn't get up for 3 hours. Everybody left, and I was still just drawing little cupcakes on the skin, and my sister volunteered her finger for my first tattoo, probably like a week later, and it didn't come out like trash. And then we used to stay after my mom would leave the shop. We would stay after hours and charge our friends needle price because we had to, at least give her money back for her supplies. So we charged them needle price, like $20, do small tattoos, and that lasted a few months. My mom had got sick, so her shop had closed. In that time, I went to Creative Ink on Quail with Drama and Latif.
And my boys.
Mine too. When I tell you I went to them, I only knew how to line. I didn't know how to shade. They sat with me. We're all left-handed. So when a right-hand person tried to teach you something, like when my mom was trying to teach me, it was hard. When they taught me, it was like so easy, you know?
It was
They
second nature.
Yeah.
So not to cut you off, we're gonna get back to Creative Ink.
Okay.
I just want the listeners to know you were charging your friends needle prices.
Yeah.
So I'm saying this because that was your introduction. That was you learning. That was you home. How you say it?
Honing your
Yeah,
craft.
honing your craft.
Mhm.
So I want the listeners to know there's no instant gratification.
No, absolutely not. And in tattooing, there's no, you go to college for something, they have a syllabus. There's none of that. Everybody's skin's different. Everybody's ideas are different. Trying to pull your idea into my head and make it something we both like, it's anxiety-ridden job as well. You know, you're putting something permanent on somebody. There's another anxiety. Like, it's a lot going into it. However, the people, I was honest. I was totally honest. I didn't lie to anybody. They all knew me. You know what I mean? So it gave me a little bit of comfort. You start small and then, I don't know. I was lucky to have enough people to trust
Okay.
me.
So now back to the creative ink stage.
I didn't believe in myself. And when I tell you them guys pushed me, like I did my first tattoo party. We started at 1:30 in the afternoon and then stopped till 4 in the morning. After that, I was sold. I was like, oh, this is grinding. And I've always had a hustle. So it all kind of, you know what I mean? And then their support was crazy. Like it was just, I don't know. I thank them for a lot,
Okay.
actually.
So after creative ink, what was the next step?
So after Creative Inc., well, mid Creative Inc., I didn't leave Creative Inc. for a while. I had gotten hired at Black Ink. I was working there 3 days a week and I was working at Creative Inc. 4 days a week. So in between that, I don't know. I think I did that for probably like 2 years and then it became too much. So I kept Black Ink and I had to go
Mm-hmm.
from Creative Inc. And then I got fired at Black Ink for whatever. And then I went back to Creative Inc. for a little while, got rehired at Black Ink again, got fired again. And then I came back up here, did my own thing, and now I got my own shop.
So walk me through maybe some of the trials and tribulations of starting your own shop.
Oh, geez. Now, starting my own shop, it was more just learning the things they should teach you in school, like taxation and codes and the things you need to know going into a business. As far as like business wise, I was already set. I wasn't afraid of paying my bills and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Thank God for social media. Thank God for me knowing how to work it, my support system, my clients, you know what I mean? But I wasn't nervous opening the business. I was just nervous about knowing how to run it correctly,
Okay.
under the codes and the laws and stuff like that, especially like bloodborne pathogens and things like that. That's a whole different arena, you know? Um,
Now, 'cause what I like to tell the listeners is you can be an artist
mhm.
and being a businesswoman or man is totally different.
Oh, and it's hard for our artists. It is because we think different, we see things different, we even communicate different. I'm very I don't express myself well, so drawing helps. It's a form of therapy as well. However, you can't talk to people crazy. I think that like tattoo artists back in the day, there was only 5 of them in the area, in the tri-state area probably. Now you got one on every corner, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't be that asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Can I curse? You can't do that to people for many reasons. Just like, like you're a photographer. Your personality carries you
Mm-hmm.
from the club days to
Yep.
now. We remember you as the cool guy, like you was the guy, like. So if you were the a-hole or the guy that, you didn't want to give your money to, you probably wouldn't be here now.
Yeah.
The same way.
I like to
But
let people know as well, anybody can take your picture. I'm a photographer. Like your phones are great now. Everyone's a
right.
photographer. When let's say a wedding client comes in and we have our consultation, they're really interviewing me as the person, not solely my work. Anybody can take your picture. So I
Absolutely.
like to give someone a whole overall experience. Like
Yes.
like when I came in and you had me fill out the forms and then with my ID and I'm like, "Oh, this is for real. Oh, this is for real in here."
Yes, we require 2 forms of ID.
Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff I want you to talk about because
Oh,
people may
no,
not
they
know
don't.
that. Like I seen you like you saran wrap the arm of your chair. You had gloves on. You saran wrapped your phone, and I'm like, oh, they serious in here.
Oh yeah, especially with health and you dealing with people's blood and it's like going into a surgery room. You have to look at it like that. And as well as I'm protecting myself, I'm protecting you as well. Anything can happen. Like you shouldn't be if I'm doing a tattoo, you shouldn't be sweeping.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff goes in the air or just knowing certain stuff like that. Always cleaning the skin. And if your artist doesn't have calcite or Dettol or any of those things, you should really I don't know.
Okay, since we're in that realm, what are maybe 2 or 3 things to look out for when getting a tattoo?
Always make sure your artist opens a needle in front of you. That's number one important. And number two, you can just kind of tell when you walk into a shop. You know what I mean? Like the overall experience. If you're walking in and you're seeing dust bunnies and dirt and ink everywhere, you probably shouldn't sit down and get a tattoo.
I got one right here. When you gave me the care form, like
Mhm.
how to care for my tattoo,
Right.
no Vaseline, no
No.
vasitration and stuff like that was on the form,
Right.
and that was very helpful.
Right.
Like soon as I left you, I went right to Walmart.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I went and got the Ogre
Yeah.
and what kind of soap is it?
Antibacterial. Mm-hmm.
I went and got that immediately.
The county requires we give aftercare instructions. Everyone's is a little different, even like when I started. And same thing, everything evolves a little bit. When I started, wrap it in plastic, give you A&D. Now we have a whole different, you know, way of taking care of things. Reason being, if you'd like to know, is A&D heals your skin quicker than the tattoo's ready to heal. It's a cut. Your skin will heal itself. You only use the Aquaphor really to keep the scabs from popping off. When you cover it with A&D, it's smothering it. A lot of people notice ink starts spewing out of it. It's sore the next day. It's because it's a healing ointment. So it's trying to heal your skin before the tattoo is ready. So you're left with a faded tattoo. Just certain things I learned working in different shops.
That's good to know, and I I appreciated that.
Oh,
You know what I mean? I appreciated like it was very informative.
oh, good.
So, and that would set you aside from like no other. I have maybe 10, 12 tattoos. No one else ever.
You never got an aftercare
No, never got the
instruction?
aftercare instructions. Um, never filled out any paperwork. You know what I mean? So it's good to know.
That's to cover both of us. You know what I mean? Let's say anything could happen. You could not take care of your tattoo, leave the plastic on for 4 days, and then come back try to tell me that I did something wrong.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So that covers it. It's just smart. If not anything, it's just smart to keep your paperwork right.
So if someone is watching this and they want to open a tattoo shop, what are maybe the first 2 or 3 steps?
You got to have clientele. You do. You're going to open it and close it. You have to be in the arena. You don't have to tattoo to open a tattoo shop, but you can't be a hairdresser and think you're going to open a tattoo shop. Just like anything, we have our own niches, our own hustles, our own ways around. You know what I mean? It's what you know is what you know when you're in the industry, I guess. So you're just not going to wang it and say, oh, this is a good way to make money and disrespect the art at the same time. It is a business, you know what I mean? But it's a different type of business. There's not, tattoo artist comes in all different shapes and forms. You know what I mean? Your clients are all different shapes and forms. You have to know how to deal with a lot of different people. If you're not a chameleon, just like you said, I'm sure your clients you deal with in the clubs isn't the same you deal with in weddings.
Yep.
Not saying that you change. However, you just deal different.
Hmm.
You know, I don't know. Opening a tattoo shop is, for me, it was to just expand. I was cool doing things in my living room. However, um, when you get to that point where you want to grow and I want to teach,
Mm.
I don't want to keep all this to myself. You know what I mean? But it's not as easy as trying to teach somebody eyebrows. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it takes time and dedication, and people think it just looks fun and you draw all day and You go in a tattoo shop, everybody turned up, or like it looks like everybody's just chilling, and like we really work.
Yeah, you're really working. So, as far as the business aspect, what w- what was one of the biggest hurdles in opening up your shop?
Just finding a place. I've had a lot of like I know a lot of people, so you know what I mean. Everybody has a space, a place. That, you know what I'm saying? It just I move off like feeling
Mhm.
and that gut feeling, and nothing felt right for years. I've been looking into it for years. I started my LLC years ago. Just business partners, people coming at me with all kinds of offers, and especially when the black ink thing happened, you know what I mean? But like it just didn't feel right. And I'm a bit of a control freak. So if I don't have like at least almost total control of the way things are gonna go, and I have to trust you,
Mhm.
especially in my business, because one thing could tear it all down. So, you know, I don't party like I used to, very self-disciplined, because if you go off on that other path, like one y'all know like one Yelp review could tear you up,
Mhm.
you know? So I'm very aware of um that, but I didn't really have many, to be honest. Like I'm so blessed.
Mm.
That was my only hurdle, just it feeling right, you know, like, and this felt right.
That's
The
great.
the 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 place, I didn't want a street shop. I did all that hustle, the walk-ins, the everybody with a tattoo idea coming in the door. You know what I mean? I run by appointment for a reason. I can focus on you and your art and your piece, you know? It's just kind of how I operate better. Some people operate great like that. That's their thing. But like I said, I just went off on a tangent, but it's good for business.
I love it. So, I see you talking about you only do appointments only.
Right.
And when you're in business, you have to know your business
Right.
and what works for you.
Absolutely.
So, being in business is a blessing because you get to make your own schedule.
Right.
But I don't want you guys to think like, okay, it's Tuesday, I'm just not going to go to work on
Oh my
Tuesday.
God.
Or it's Thursday, I'm just going to take Thursday off.
No.
No, it doesn't work like that. You make your own schedule so you're not stressed out and
Mm-hmm.
running all over, and you're a
Absolutely.
mom.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So, how do you deal with being a mom, being a business owner? Like, how does it all work?
I've been winging it. I ain't even gonna I ain't even gonna hold you. I've been faking it till I made it. Um my what I am terrible at, and I always say it, I just said it with my messages. That is when you end your day, and this is not for clout, but when you end your day and you have 350 messages, you got inbox messenger, you got Snapchat, Instagram, and you just work 12 hours, your eyes going like this, like the last thing and I got to go home and draw. The last thing I want to do is answer messages. However, it's a blessing. Like you said, I know I don't function well till after 12 o'clock. So I don't start my day till 1. You know what I mean? It gives me time to start. I know when I start to get tired. My last appointment's at 12 or 7:30. So by like 9:30, 10, I'm out of there finally. You know what I mean? Um, with my daughter, I was just blessed, dude. Like I got summers off. She always went to her grandmother's for the summer. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to hustle extra
Mm-hmm.
around them times. I was able to save money. I was able to do things. However, the last couple years, I worked at home because she was in high school, and I was working crazy hours. I wasn't paying attention to her homework. I was feeding her corner store stuff from Quail Street when I was at that shop. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? All that stuff factored in, and I noticed I was neglecting my number one reason I do all this. So I was given the opportunity, as an unsafe and whatever as it was. It worked for like 4 years. I was in my living room. So that's kind of how my kid turned out so great. And I believe that having that option saved us both. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? Like if she needed anything, I was right there. I'm able to make my schedule. She has cheerleading. I can go. I remember my mom and dad, they couldn't go all the time. And kids act like they don't care, but they care. You know, they work
Of
2
course.
jobs, you know what I'm saying? So it was that was a balance. I'm telling you, like tattooing like people say it cliche and all that, but like tattooing really saved my life. Like therapy especially. It gave me a calming sense and a purpose, you know?
Okay. So looking forward, how do you look to expand?
Well, right now I started microblading. It's like a semi-permanent eyebrow. It gives a natural look to us girls that pluck the crap out of our eyebrows or just want to fill in a nice shape. That is sort of my exit plan. So I'm beginning it now. Like I said, it's hard to teach somebody to tattoo because they think you're gonna walk in, make $100 an hour, draw all this great stuff, have all this clientele, and it don't work like that. With microblading, I can teach. It's a structure. There's a
Mm,
structure to it. There's a, you know what I mean? There's certain way it can be done, and I can advance that onto other people. I can get other microbladers in quicker than I would more artists. Um, I pay for their training. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, or they'll pay me for their training, et cetera, et cetera. And you'd be surprised how many women want their eyebrows done.
mm,
So hopefully teach a few people before I go out, give them a place to tattoo, comfort them. Apprentices in tattoo places get treated like dog stuff, you know, like it's not right. I get the the reasoning behind it. You got to earn your keep type of thing, but you don't have to be treated like, you know,
you
it's
know,
not right to treat people the way they get treated. I've heard crazy stories, you know what I'm saying? So I want a place where people can grow, you know, and not feel ashamed if they mess up or I've been scolded, I've been fired, I've been in arguments and just certain things weren't explained to me the correct way
mm,
cuz we all learn how to tattoo different and we're
okay.
all different.
So
But I don't really have an exit plan to answer your question just yet. I'm working on it. Like,
no, not the exit plan, just seeing how you were going to expand. And it's just like,
that's how I want to expand. I want to like look at my phone and tattoo when I want and watch everybody work that I taught. And like, that's what I see in my head, like watch a security camera, like get to work. You know what I mean? Like, and come to work probably 2, 3 days a week. Cause I don't ever want to quit. I just do it 6, 7 days a week. And I'm getting old, bro. Like,
yeah. Yeah. And when people come on a show, like I've been in business 8 years now, I've been dealing with a lot of hurdles and I've learned a lot.
right,
So I like to give tips and tricks as well.
right.
And taking from what you were saying, the biggest help that you can have is social media management.
And how you carry yourself on social media. Because please believe you me, I want to get real personal on there sometimes.
Can't.
Nah, you can't. Your political views, your opinions. If you got something to say to somebody, maybe slide in the inbox. But watch what you do. Like
It's two things that I've learned in business. Like I've studied it. It's two things that you don't mix in your business. Is that's politics
mm,
and religion.
absolutely. When did that get crossed though? Because remember, I don't know. When I was a kid, I was always told you don't talk about how much you make,
Mm-hmm.
politics, and religion.
Yeah.
Like that was just something you kept to, your immediate circle and not I don't know. I
Yeah.
believe everybody is entitled to their opinions, but other people don't respect other people's
Yeah.
opinions,
But
you know?
in business, like it got crossed when people don't know how to separate
Yeah,
your personal life from your business.
absolutely.
Mandi Jo, the tattoo artist.
Is not Amanda. No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Nah, absolutely not. However, it's been going on so long, I find myself being Mandy all the
Mm-hmm.
time. You know what I mean? I have to get into that. Like even taking out curse words. Like because of the industry I'm in, I have a little looser
Mm-hmm.
I can, finagle things, but it is very important to watch how you maneuver social media.
So my question to you: how are you going to get better at your social media management? Do you hire your daughter?
I,
Do you?
that's the, so I would love to hire my daughter or my niece or whoever. However, like I said, I'm a bit of a control freak, and I do things a certain way. I say certain things, you know what I mean? So she's learning. That's not something you learn overnight either. She's 19, you know. So I'm trying to more or less lead by example than a dictator. So if she wants to jump in, cool. If I have to hire somebody, cool. It just has to be the right somebody. You
Okay.
know what I mean? And uploading something at a stop sign, I could do all that. Like, making sure everything's going on. But like you said, if I expand, I also have to expand everything else. And that is something I'm learning as well, that I can't do everything.
Can't.
I I have such a problem with that because I believe I can. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I really believe if I just, not do this, then I can do all of this, but it's not smart.
Yeah. It's
I,
just bad business practice.
right.
And before we go, it's two things. One, I want you to shout out yourself again.
Oh,
And two, I want you to leave the listeners and the people that want to start doing what you're doing with some words of encouragement.
okay. A1 Inc. Ink Gallery, 1033 Central Ave, Albany, 12205. Phone number 518-892-6818. My IG handle is at A1_Inc. And I'm Mandi Jo on Facebook. And what I will leave you with is a piece of advice I got from one of the greatest artists I ever met. His name is Boogstar. And he said, keep your head down, keep drawing. You can't go wrong with keeping your head down and drawing. And that's it. And if you walk into a tattoo shop and you want an apprentice or you want them to hire you, don't get offended. Work harder. Everybody's so sensitive these days. You know what I mean? It just make them not want to say no. That's it.
I love it. It was a pleasure.
Same.
Pleasure. And you guys are watching Good Morning Albany with Mandi Jo today.
You're